So now in this lesson, we're going to take a look at the back end and the front end of Joomla to give you an overview of how things work, where things are located. Again, I'm not going to go into excessive details in this particular course because I already have an extensive course that goes through a lot more than this. But one of the new things that they added with Joomla 5 is it's like a quick tour, right? Because when you start up with a new platform, you're not really sure what to do, where to go, and where things are located. So one thing that they did with the version 5 is they've introduced this the Joomla tour. So let's click on start. As you can see, it has 1 of 6. There are 6 different things that is going to show you to get you familiar with the back end. So let's click on start. It's going to show you next. It's showing you where the menus are located. So this is where all the menu items on your website is going to be located. So if you want to connect an item that you design on the back end, but you want for people to see on the front end, all the menus, the components, this is all things connected on your site that uses the menu. It's back here. So I'm going to explain a little bit more later on. Let's click on to next. The next part of it is the dashboard, the panels. Now this is where you can be able to add more items to the panels. You can remove different things, but I'm not going to cover that. Click on next. It's going to show you notifications. This section here, if there's any new updates, like the Joomla version, the extensions, the override, or if there's any other urgent request or anything here, you're going to see that on this section. And then click on next. Next is going to show you the top pin bar. And what this means is that all these items are always going to be visible on the back end of your Joomla site because it's easy for you to click through and get through to different places on there. And when you click on next, it's going to show you to get help and more information. There are times when you may get stuck and need to know how to figure some things out. You can click on here. Now, I've been using Joomla for a very long time, and from time to time, I use this, not that often though, but from time to time. So you may want to get familiar with that if you should come across any substantial things that you don't really understand. And next, you want to click on complete. So that gives you an overview of the back end of Joomla, just to kind of get you warmed up to it. So now let's take a look at the front end. Now the front end, you can get to the front end by clicking where it says EasyStore. Whatever name that you've called it, it could have been something else, but for this one I called it EasyStore. So to see what that is, let me X this off. To see what that is, I can click on this. When I click on this, it's going to take me to the front end. Now I know you're probably saying, Matthew, this doesn't look anything like the store that we're going to create. You're absolutely correct. What happened is once you install Joomla, Joomla uses a default template, but we're going to make a change to this. Now, you can use this default template or you can use something else for it, but we're going to switch this from the default Joomla and we're going to install the Helix Ultimate framework on the back end. So as you can see, this is very plain. This is very simple. There's really not much you can be able to do here, not much. So now that that's been installed, we can be able to continue on. In this section here for the menu, you have the content. This is where you can add your articles, you can add your fields, you can add your categories, you can add your media. There's your images that you can add. You can also add more modules. So if I click here, it's going to take me to a section where I can be able to select what modules that I want to add. So I'm going to cancel that because we don't need to add anything. And then these are the menus, your front end menus. You have your components. These are all the extra plugins that you can install to give Joomla a little bit more feature than the default. And then you have the users. One of the beautiful things about Joomla and content management system overall is that it allows you to create what's called access control level, or ACL. This is when you can determine who get access to what part of the website. You can see a public, you have guest, you have register, you have special, and you have super user. So in essence, what this is saying is if you want to build a website that is a membership website, for example, and you want just a certain group of people to have access to it, you can connect them to one of these, like register. So they would have to create an account on your website. This is pretty much just permission on what people can be able to see and what people can be able to do.